The Battle of Berlin is finally over, the long-awaited end to the most historic war in the world. The Soviet Union has been successful in attacking the heart of Germany, Berlin. The battle lasted from April 16, 1945, all the way to May 2, 1945. We have just received notice that Adolf Hitler has been pronounced dead after an apparent suicide on April 30, 1945. It is unclear what other Nazi officials have also died, but it is for certain that the Berlin garrison is under a complete surrender to the Soviet Union. Even though the war is officially over, it is not widely known across Europe. There are still troops fighting and dying for their countries all over the European continent. After a long and hard war, this is officially the end of Nazi Germany.
The Soviet Army started its campaign to Berlin on June 22, 1944. This was Stalin, the dictator at the time's effort to prove the Soviet Union's power and get to Berlin before the U.S. It took the Soviet Union about 4 days and many soldiers to get past the Silo Heights, about 70 kilometers east of Berlin. But on April 21st, the Soviet Union units entered Berlin. At this time, Soviet soldiers fought what was left of the Nazi Germany resistance. Finally, on May 2nd, the Berlin garrison surrendered to the Soviet Union. The Soviet death toll was around 80,000 soldiers, and the German death toll was estimated to be around 50,000 soldiers. Overall, a devastating loss for both sides. My forces were ordered to the southwest where we joined the United States Army. I even remember when we met the American troops on April 25th near Torgau and when we took Prague. But I also remember that the battle was one of the worst, and I'm happy to have survived. The war was not only a devastation with the count of fallen soldiers, but also the ruins that were left behind in Berlin. The Soviet Union was successful in using 2 army groups to attack Berlin on the east and south side, while a third group came in from the north and overran the Germans. The Soviet military came in with a plan to surround the Germans in Berlin and take over the city. After the death of Adolf Hitler, the only ones left to fight was all that was left of the German resistance. Over the course of those 16 days, the Red Army was very successful in finishing World War II. On May 2, 1945, the Soviet Union officially captured the Reich Chancellery. General Weidling surrendered that day. The German SS officers were not happy about the defeat and chose to keep fighting in a couple of buildings still standing in Berlin, but ultimately they were no match for the military they were up against. It was really sad to come back to my home after being in the shelter. All that was left of the city I was born in was just a bunch of rubble. I knew it would take years and years before the city was cleaned up again. This war has brought nothing but devastation to my family. We are all very fortunate to be alive, but we know that it will be a long time before the trauma and painful memories dissipate.